Hi everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to use MockForMe and the new MockForMe DevTool in under 5 minutes. Create API mocks, test any scenario, and reproduce bugs without backend dependencies. MockForMe is an AI-powered API simulation platform that helps teams build, test, and ship faster. In this video, we'll cover installing the MockForMe Chrome extension, configuring it, and a live DevTool demo. Let's get started. Let's start by installing the MockForMe Chrome extension from the Chrome Web Store. Search for MockForMe, click on the result, and then click Add to Chrome to install the extension. Once the extension is installed, you'll see the MockForMe icon in the Chrome extension toolbar. Clicking the icon opens a pop-up where you can enable or disable the extension using the toggle switch. You can also access the configuration page by clicking the settings button. Alternatively, you can open the configuration page by right-clicking anywhere on a web page and selecting MockForMe settings from the context menu. On the configuration page, you can enable or disable the extension. You can also enter your MockForMe access token, which you can obtain from the MockForMe dashboard. We'll skip this step for now, since the access token can also be configured directly from the DevTool. Now, let's whitelist a domain. We'll whitelist localhost for local development and Amazon.in to demonstrate the DevTool on a live website. Now, let's see the MockForMe DevTool in action on Amazon.in. Great! The MockForMe DevTool is now visible on the page. To get started, configure the widget using your MockForMe access token. You can obtain the token from your MockForMe dashboard or by clicking the Get a Token link. On this page, you can either sign in or create a new account. MockForMe offers two authentication options: sign in with your email and password or continue with Google. For this demo, let's continue with Google. After successful authentication, you'll be redirected to the workspace page. MockForMe automatically assign a default developer workspace to each user. Before selecting the workspace, let's first accept the cookies policy. Now, click the Select Workspace button. Once a workspace is selected, all the options in the left navigation panel become available. You will also see an option to open the Access Token page, where you can generate and manage your access tokens. Since no access token has been created yet, let's create a new one. The access token has been generated successfully. Copy the token and paste it into the MockForMe DevTool widget. Now, return to Amazon.in, paste the copied access token into the widget, and click Submit. Authentication is now complete, and the MockForMe DevTool has been configured successfully. Now, let's see how to use the MockForMe DevTool. The DevTool is organized into three main tabs: Mappings, Mocked, and Others. The Mappings tab displays all APIs that have been configured for mocking. Under the Mock tab, you'll see all API requests triggered on the page that match a configured mapping and are successfully mocked by MockForMe. Any API requests triggered on the page that don't match a configured mapping will appear under the Others tab. Let's briefly explore some of the other features available in the DevTool. Using the snipping tool, you can capture a specific area of your website and ask AI to transform it in real time. You can manually refresh your mappings at any time. The settings option allows you to customize behavior, such as adding a 5 seconds delay to all unmatched APIs. You can also remove the access token if needed. The Enable/Disable switch controls whether MockForMe is active on the current page. If you turn it off, MockForMe will stop working on this page. To enable it again, you'll need to do so from the configuration page. Finally, you can close the widget. Once closed, a draggable bubble will appear on the screen, allowing you to reopen the DevTool whenever needed. You can drag the bubble anywhere on the page for easy access. Clicking the bubble again will reopen the DevTool and display the widget. Now, let's create a mock API directly from the DevTool itself. Before creating a mock API, let's clear all the network requests in the Others tab by clicking Clear icon. Now, let's click on the search box. An API request to the Suggestions endpoint is triggered and appears in the Others tab. Clicking on the request opens its details, where you can inspect the request and response headers, request body, and the response received from the backend. You can also copy the response, adjust the view area, and search for specific keys or values within the response. Let's go back and create a mock for this API. Click the three-dot menu and select Create Mock. The response details are automatically populated. On this screen, you can modify the HTTP status code, switch between the visual and text editors, and customize the response as needed. For this demo, let's modify a suggestion value, append a custom suffix to the suggestion, and then click the Apply Changes button. The mock has now been created successfully and also saved in MockForMe dashboard. The newly created mock API is now visible in the Mappings tab. Whenever an API request on Amazon.in matches the suggestions endpoint with the get method, it will be intercepted by MockForMe and served with the mocked response. These requests will appear in the mocked tab. Let's see it in action. Click on the search box again, and you can see the updated suggestion returned by MockForMe. You can also see the corresponding request listed in the mocked tab. Let's inspect the request details. Here, you can view the request and response headers, request body, and the mocked response returned by MockForMe. The response now contains the updated value we configured in our mock. You can also update mocked responses directly from the MockForMe dashboard. Let's take a quick look. Navigate to the MockForMe dashboard, open the collection, and select the suggestions endpoint. Here, you can view the currently configured response. Click Edit, make the necessary changes, and format the response if needed. Once you're done, click Save to apply the updates. Now, let's return to Amazon.in and click on the search box again. As you can see, the updated response is being served immediately by MockForMe. Note, you can create multiple mock responses for a single API in the MockForMe dashboard. We'll explore this in a later video. Before moving forward, let's clear all the requests from the mocked and others tabs. You can also control API mocking behavior directly from the MockForMe dashboard. For example, if you no longer want the suggestions API to be mocked and would prefer to receive the actual response from the backend, you can easily do that. Let's go to the MockForMe dashboard, click the collection, and turn off the Enable Mocking switch next to the Suggestions endpoint. Let's go back to Amazon.in and click on the search box again. Notice that there are no active mappings displayed in the Mappings tab and no requests appear in the Mock tab. Instead, the Suggestions API request is now listed under the Others tab. This confirms that the request was not intercepted by MockForMe and the response was received directly from Amazon.in. You can re-enable mocking for the Suggestions API at any time by turning the switch back on in the MockForMe dashboard. Now, return to Amazon.in and click on the search box again. As you can see, the suggestions are once again being served from the mocked response. If we check the Mappings tab, we can see that the Suggestions API is active. In the Mock tab, we can also see the Suggestions request, confirming that the API request was intercepted and served by MockForMe. MockForMe makes API simulations simple and efficient. What once required significant time and effort can now be accomplished in just a few clicks. By reducing dependencies on backend availability, developers and QA teams can work faster, test more effectively, and deliver stable releases with greater confidence. MockForMe supports hassle-free integration with Chrome, NPM, Android, and iOS. Try it for free and check out the next video to learn how to integrate it with your localhost application.